Hey, coffee cuties. We are back with another banger. And today we are back with another reaction video where I give my raw and unfiltered opinion, typically on topics about coily natural hair. But today is going to be a little bit different, but still Black woman adjacent. And today we still will begin the opinions from a coily cutie herself by the name of Ari Lennox, who is an R&B singer. She's a songwriter, I believe, as well. And she is always going viral for her opinions about Black woman issues, colorism, and everything in between. And today she is calling the 90s sitcom that is an OG staple in so many Black households to the forefront for, I guess, colorism and just talking negatively about the dark skinned woman by the name of Pam on the show. Tashina Arnold is what the actress' real name is. But basically, Ari Lennox was saying that she does not appreciate the way that Martin, played by Martin Lawrence, of course, used to always clown and downgrade Pam on the show and her beauty and just talk about her in a negative way. So we're gonna let Ari talk about it in her own words. So I did see the rant going viral, but I did not listen to it because I wanted to give an unfiltered reaction to it. So let's see what your girl has to say and then come back with more commentary.
That pissed me off about Martin was how much he would go on Pam. Like I know, and this is coming from a girl who I love me a good joking ass movie, and it even when the joking movie is like, damn, like that was fucked up. You know, I'm not like too woke or something is what I'm trying to say. I'm honestly not I'm problematic. I'm pretty problematic, low key. But my point is that there are some things where I draw the line and it just bothered me. Or I don't know, it's like Pam was so fucking beautiful and so fine. And I just feel like growing up as a chocolate girl, I don't even know if I was able to understand the greatness of Pam because of the light that I feel like I was being fed. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that pissed me off about Martin was how of just always going on Pam, always that's all I remember. And I didn't like that. But so I feel conflicted because while I feel like the show is incredible and I feel like Martin is a legendary show and all of the actors and Tommy and everybody legendary, amazing. I adore them all. You have no idea. And I adore Martin. I adore him. It just would piss me off. The joking on Pam. I just didn't like that, you know? I'll always kind of feel a way about that. Of just
Well, you know I'm sensitive about my buckshots. You didn't have to go there.
Okay, but there's a big difference, all right? A good job is hard to come by, but they got dark and lovely on damn near every corner you can. Okay? Now lube it down, BB. Ain't no excuse. Lube it down.
Well, you know I'm sensitive about.
Alrighty, so they even left in a little bit of an example. So I do want to start off by saying RIP to the actor who played Tommy. Unfortunately, I don't know his real name, but I do know he passed away some time ago. So yes, the show again was an OG staple in my household, but I actually did talk about this topic before in a different video randomly when I talked about just growing up in the 90s and just kind of the messages that we received as young Black girls. And yes, the show Martin did come into my conversation about the way that he always picked on Pam and in particularly about her hair. So I definitely do feel like it was pushing a lot of textures, ideals onto little girls that had coily natural hair back in the 90s to say, hey, this is B2Bs or buckshot and all that type of stuff. He really didn't too much from what I can remember go at her looks directly, but her hair was the main topic in conversation. And I also do agree with Ari Lennox about the fact that I don't believe that us as brown skin or dark skin women or girls at the time could really value how beautiful Pam was in this era because the show kind of put Gina more as the beautiful one and Pam more as the sidekick, and then with Martin telling all these jokes about her, which in fairness, Pam did equally talk about Martin as well. So we cannot leave that out of the conversation. She did talk about everything from, I remember his height, his ears, just more about his looks, I feel like, than what he pointed out. But leave down below if I'm incorrect. I just remember the constant jokes about her hair. But nevertheless, I do agree with the fact again that I don't feel like I was able to truly appreciate her beauty because yeah, she face, style, body, all of that, and to be again in the 90s and to be in the forefront when it was more difficult at that time for dark skinned beautiful women to be on TV. She definitely is a staple even to this day, even when she was in Everybody's Taste. Chris, still beautiful. If you look her up today, still gorgeous, still got the body, everything. So yeah, I could definitely see where Ari Lennox is coming from for sure. But overall, I don't know if Martin had any malice when it came to that in particular, or I just feel like it was unfortunately part of the times and they were just feeding on to what was already out there. Again, these ideals was pushed in the 90s super hard. This is the pro perm era. Young girls as far back as about 4 or 5 had perms, including myself. So yeah, this is just the time, unfortunately, that we was in. Of course, now in 2025, we have more opportunities to voice our opinions and perspectives and talk about how this was very hurtful to a lot of us and very damaging to our self-esteems and things like that. We're just a lot more knowledgeable today. So I do hope that having conversations about this can really have these conversations come to the forefront and say, hey, even though I enjoy this show, it is a staple, I do not enjoy every aspect of the show. And talking about a beautiful Black woman and her hair that grows out of her scalp naturally, it's somehow in a negative light. I didn't like that either. Now, I know that a lot of people have opinions and views about Ari Lennox when it comes to, for example, her conversations about colorism and featureism and everything in between, because she can be that kind of deems herself, because I personally feel like she's very beautiful. Again, she is a representation of coily natural hair, Black women with darker skin tones as well. But I do feel like sometimes she comes more from the standpoint of being victimized by her skin and by her hair versus being in a position where she's more speaking from a healed place, where she understands the unfortunate things that she went through, the experiences, but now she's in a place where she can truly appreciate and recognize her beauty, which of course everybody's going to be on their own journey. So I'm not saying anything is wrong with her for being at the level that she's in, but I do know a lot of people view her as like, oh, it's just Ari Lennox complaining again or whatever the case may be. But I do feel like in this case, it does matter because again, this is a staple in a lot of Black households. Even to this day, people are still watching the show, and I don't want more and more young Black girls to have to rely on a relaxer or feel like, oh, if my hair is coily and the way that my hair grows out of my scalp is something wrong with that. And this is how men or boys feel about my hair, first boys and then turn into men feel about my hair. And it's something wrong with my hair, because it's absolutely not. Again, Pam is very, very beautiful. I know this is also sparking a lot of debates about, oh, Pam was way more beautiful than Gina, whatever the case may be. It doesn't have to be a light skin versus dark skin thing, because honestly, I don't feel like Gina had anything to do with this whole dynamic as well. The writers, producers, and just people feeding into what was going on at the time, unfortunately, is what played a part in that. But again, we can now change narrative. She had jokes on Gina too. She's bored. Go make some music. Someone else said, I understand what she's saying. Yes, I do too. I understand what she's saying completely. Why should we ever feel away when it happens literally every day? Most friends joke with friends. I don't think he was shaming her, Miss Bye. So someone else says, sister, I like you. Sometimes keep those thoughts to yourself. You can sing though, girl. It's a fictional character. Sorry, move on. Someone else said, he never said anything about her skin tone, so I don't get why she feels some type of way. So that's what I was thinking. I didn't never hear him talk about her actual looks as far as being dark skinned, as far as being ugly or anything like that. It was all about the hair, which again is problematic as well. So someone else said, girl, please. And let's see if it goes down anymore. I don't think it had anything to do with the shade of her skin. He joked all everyone. I think they tried to say he joked on everyone. So someone else said, when did he say anything about her skin tone? I never saw that episode. Ma'am, Ari, she's full of that dope. Wow. Okay. So I don't think she's on any type of drug. So what the F? You didn't even have to say nothing. So yeah, I think that people are assuming that she is referring to him talking about her being Pam's skin tone, because Ari was like as a chocolate girl or whatever the case may be. But It was more so, I feel like personally, he was joking more on her hair texture. So it was more like a textures conversation more so than colors conversation. But I do know a lot of times it overlaps, and I know a lot of times people use them interchangeably. But if we're going to talk about it, then yes, the correct thing that was actually going on is he was pushing a lot of textures ideals. But let me know what you think about all this. Were you a fan of the show, Martin? Were you offended? Looking back now as a grown woman, no matter what your age is, looking back on all the jokes that he used to tell, did you think that it was something wrong with the way that he used to kind of really come down hard on Pam again about her curly hair? Or do you feel like it was just friends being friends, joking on each other? Because again, Pam did come back on Martin a lot as well and give her own jokes. And in fairness, Martin also did say a lot of things about all the characters. I know Cole, for example, was painted as being dumb. I know Tommy didn't have no job. I know Gina's kind of stereotype about her or whatever, the negative thing that they always used to talk about her when it came to her physical appearance was her big head. So they all kind of had something in fairness. But if we're talking about the conversation when it comes to Black women and just the issues surrounding our hair, then yes, it is an example of a show that unfortunately did push those textures ideals forward. But again, let me know what you think about all this. Is it fair game? What do you think? Leave it all down below. Also, we are less than 100 people away from the goal of 10K. At 10K, we'll probably be doing a design essentials bundle. I'm going to give that away to one lucky winner when we hit 10K. We'll also be going live as well. So thank you all for the support as we continue to just drop more videos at the videos, and thank you for all the comments and everything in between. But this is the end of this video. So if you have a story you want me to cover, be sure to email me. But until next time, see ya.